Meow time!
What's going on, guys? I'm iMeow. Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel and welcome to another Mario Kart Wii video today. We've actually got another 1v1 going on right now, which I think has been just a little while, but at the same time, especially looking at how frequently I upload as always, right? It could have been last video as well, playing this game for that matter, I have no idea really. We're smacking his booty though, so that's the good thing right there, right? Yay, I think he has like 5k VR as well, so I'll take the small bits here and there and just move on. Anyways, I kind of wanted to talk about Mario Kart Wii tracks and specifically custom tracks, just overall track design and what makes a custom track great and what ruins or makes a custom track worse, right? And obviously it's a very subjective topic as well. People love different tracks, which is pretty logical as well, obviously. There's no such thing as a best track in this game either, as there's so many great ones overall, but I do actually believe there's definitely returning elements to great tracks that are just universally accepted. At least most people think or believe that they are the better tracks in the game, if that makes sense, right? Examples of this are like pretty much most Nitro tracks in this game where it has like unintentional shortcut. It kind of depends on which angle you're looking from as well. If you play it very casually, then you probably won't enjoy the same tracks for the same reasons anyways. And why this has been interesting me quite a bit lately is because I've talked about this last video as well. I want to kind of try to create a custom track myself on Mario Kart Wii, so I'm definitely looking into what I could do to make it a good track. Now I don't just want to start going into like an engine and start working like Blender, for example, right? I don't want a 3D model. I want to get a good concept first, and I want to design the layout first as well before I do anything else, which I think is the most important thing, right? This is probably the best method to use. I'm not speaking out of experience when it comes to tracks, but from like my other projects that I've done in the past, it's usually quite a good idea to at least prototype quite a little bit. It just sucks starting on a project and then realizing like 1 week in that it just doesn't work, it's not fun to play, or something is wrong, right? I think you save a lot of time if you just blend stuff out, but it's kind of beside the point here. I'm not sure why I'm rambling off. I have actually come up with a little list of what I think make custom tracks great just overall. And again, it's mostly my own experience as well, what I like to see in the track myself too, which is probably the most important right there. But I think a really important aspect that most custom tracks, at least that are in the pack right now here, right, kind of miss. It doesn't really feel complete. Like even this track here for an example, right, if you look at the horizon right there, it feels kind of empty. And the regular Nintendo tracks probably have a few of these elements as well, but it just, I don't know, kind of feels like all of the tracks are on an island, right? Which is not really a bad thing either. It could be the design of the track itself as well. But I think that like creating a feeling that the track's actually in some kind of place, it makes it feel more immersive almost. Same goes for like the textures, right? And how everything is modeled as well. It's just, I think a lot of time has to be put into that to make a track feel at least play nicely. Now, you could have like a very awful looking track with dope shortcuts that would still be amazing, right? But I think that the thing kind of is, a track like this, for example here, right? Concord Town, I think. It's not the most interesting track design-wise when it comes to shortcuts, but I think because it looks, again, it's subjective, but it looks very, the theming is very on point, right? It all feels the same. At least to me, it doesn't feel like there's just random textures being put together. It feels very complete in that sense, so I think that could make up for some of the flaws that the track itself has. And with all of these large, tall buildings, it doesn't really feel like it's empty. Like, you have this place right here, looking out on the sea, that makes sense. But in the town itself, it doesn't feel like I'm just driving next to a few houses, right? It feels like it's a way bigger track than it actually is, and I'm not sure where I'm exactly going with this, but I think it makes sense, right? Just creating the feeling that the track's actually complete, and not that you're just driving on some kind of half-completed prototype thingy. And there's something else as well, right? The duration of a track, and I've actually made a video on this entire topic back in like 2018, where it wasn't the best video, but I talked about what I think my ideal track length is, and it kind of came down to 2 minutes per lap. Oh wait, no, 2 minutes in total, right? 40 seconds per lap. An average, so to say, right, when you're time trailing. I don't know. I think just focusing on the design of the track itself is more important than the length, though. Like, there's definitely a few examples in the game itself, right? The custom tracks where it feels very solid, but then at the end it's just one big straightaway to the finish line. And again, people might enjoy that, but just as, again, making the track feel complete, if it's just a random straightaway, it could feel very poorly designed, but I don't know. What I actually will do is put like a form, right? A Google Forms down in the description if you guys want to actually fill that in. And I'm not sure what questions will be in it, but I'll be asking you about what makes a custom track good in your eyes. Because I don't have the answer on the video's title, it's just my ideas right here. I've been playing this game for a few years now, online at least, right, with Wii and Fi. I've played these custom tracks quite a bit. I mean, here's another example of the empty feeling, right? Looking in the distance, there's nothing to look at. It feels like a very flat island-like track. And nothing bad with that again, but you definitely don't want to take the focal point away from the road as well, obviously. But I don't know, it just feels empty, right? I can't be the only one thinking that, hopefully. Yeah, if you guys want to fill in a Google form, just asking a few questions about what you think. Maybe I'll ask what you think the best track is in general. I'll figure something out, right? I'll put a Google Forms in the description, fill it out, by all means feel free to. I'll probably make a follow-up video on this then in the future, actually discussing. It's probably only gonna be a few people filling it in, but you know what I mean. I'll make a follow-up video if you get enough entries. So, as I said, I'm low-key working on my own custom track right now. I'm working on the first design elements. Nothing special yet. I think having like one quirky, memorable feature as well, like one very insane shortcut, could also help with the track itself. Just with how people remember the track, right? If it's a very bland track, like for example this track here again, right? It's a very bland design. Driving wise, it's just a circle. But what makes this track stand out for sure is the different seasons, right? That's the one memorable thing about the track. And even though it's, as I said, would be nothing special in like a shortcut compilation, it's still a very good track, at least in the sense that it's very memorable, right? I don't have the right words to say this, but I think people being able to quickly recognize your track is a very good thing as well. Yeah, I gotta say, it's kind of fun doing this, or talking about this, while actually playing on custom tracks, right? I can definitely use most of these as examples of what I mean. And I think definitely when it comes to creating my own custom track, I don't wanna spend too much time designing either, to the point where I'll be thinking about it too much and never do it, right? That's a very bad thing to do. But I think taking inspiration from tracks people do like, right? Nintendo tracks themselves, just taking inspiration from that definitely helps. And it's always a good thing to do. One thing I will say, when I make my own track, I won't... This is the one thing I hate about tracks myself. At least tracks like this. And I do, right? The very dark look and atmosphere, it could be fun. I would at least put like a little flashlight thingy around the character itself, but just this... I can see it just fine, you probably can as well, but depending what kind of monitor you have or TV screen if you're playing the game or phone, what brightness it's on, it gets very hard to see things clearly very fast, and that just unfair things like that definitely subtracts from the just my personal rating of a custom track, and I think most people's as well, right, if I'm not wrong here. I want to create a fair track that's bright and happy as well, not too basic, right? I want to have shortcut potential, but nothing too groundbreaking either. I haven't even talked about mechanics yet either, but I think just having a track that's easy to learn, no corners where you can't see what's coming up, but then like hard to master, or at least difficult to master, right? I want everyone to play and have a chance. Well, as I said, like Dry Ruins, where you can do the basic shortcuts if you're relatively new, but once you get into like the higher levels of gameplay, you can do the very high risk, high reward shortcuts, right? That definitely help you getting first. I think just creating something like that is definitely what I aspire, right? It's not gonna work out, I can already tell you, but that's what I'm looking at. But yeah, a good thing I will say about this track is that it doesn't really feel as open as the other ones as I just talked about, right? Just placing like a wall with waterfalls around it, it just feels way more finished. Here we go, I'm actually farming some VR on this episode here, which is fun as well. I think it's the perfect scenario here, right? You're doing a 1v1 when I'm talking about, or when I'm doing like a heavy talking video, right? I think having gameplay like this is probably fine. It kinda sucks with that guy though, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, feel free to let me know in the comments as well, right? What's your favorite tracks in the game? Custom tracks, regular tracks, and why? And what do you think make tracks good, right? It could be anything, really. I just enjoy thinking about this as well. That's the reason I'm making this video here too. It's just fun to... Ooh, I think he left. I had a hard time actually searching for a lobby before I started recording, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to play some more custom tracks, but... I guess I'll just go over to some regulars then, right? It's all good. It's more so about track design as a whole, right? I think everyone's goal making custom tracks, at least like commercial custom tracks, is to make them feel like Nintendo tracks. I think that's a good aspiration. But yeah, I do actually enjoy analyzing all of these tracks and seeing what works and for what reasons they do. I think that's a lot of fun. Actually, I think having custom textures turned on isn't the best when I'm trying to analyze these tracks here for the video at least. But I mean, if you look in the distance on this track, I know it's different colors, but still, right? It's a very complete feeling track, even though if this were to be like a custom track, at least for most, right? It would just have an open skybox, no mountains in the background, no little trees like right here. But just look at that, there's a little bridge there, so there's stuff going on, right? That makes it so much more interesting just to drive on. And it's very subtle, it's very like subconsciously, but it definitely feels nicer. It feels more complete. You get what I mean, you get the gist at this point. I do actually think I'll end the video here as well. I've not even started talking about actually making the track itself. It's probably gonna be a hell as well, figuring all of the things out, how to port it over, how to actually model it, right? I have the basic understandings of those things, but it always turns out to be way more complicated than I originally thought. But that's gonna be fine. That's gonna be something to figure out as I go. So if you guys enjoyed this video, then by all means leave a like down below. If you want to hear more about my projects, right, what I've been working on, by all means subscribe. And then I'll see you guys in. I actually shouldn't forget to plug in the Google Forms as well, right? By all means fill it out. Thank you very much for that. And then I'll see you guys in the next episode. Enjoy your stay.